Om Namaste Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Shukha Uvacha Evameta Nigaditam Prashtavan Yad Bhavan Mama Nrinam Yan Mriyamananam Manusheshu Manishinam. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered to you. Brahmavarchasa kamasu yajeta brahmana patim indramindriya kamastu prajakama prajapati devi mayam tu shri kamas tejas kamo vibhavasum vasu kamo vishun rudran virya kamo tha viryavan anadya kamastwaditam Swarga kamodite sutan Vishwandevan Rajya Kama Sadhyan Samsadoko Visham Ayus Kamo Shrino Devo Pushti Kama Elam Yajit Pratishta Kama Purusho Rodasi Lokamataro Rupa Bhikamo Gandharvan Sri Kamopsara Urvashim Adipatya Kamasvar Sarvasham Yajeta Parameshtitnam Yagyam Yajedyasham Kama Kosha Kama Prachetasam Vidya Kamastu Girisham Dampatyartha Umam Satim. One who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brahaspati, the learned priest. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king, Indra, and one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapitas. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire, and one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. One should worship the Rudra incarnations of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. One who wants a large stock of grains should worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planets should worship the sons of Aditi. One who desires a worldly kingdom should worship Vishvadeva. And one who wants to be popular with the general mass of population should worship the Sadhya demigod. One who desires a long span of life should worship the demigods known as Ashvini Kumaras, and a person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon and the earth combined. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planet, and one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras, and the Urvashi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead, and one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva, and if one desires to be a good marital relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. Dharmartha uttama shlokam tantu tanvan pitrinyajet rakshakama punyajanan ojaskamo marudganan. One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement in knowledge and for protection of heredity and advancement of a dynasty. One should worship the various demigods.
Rajakaamo manundevan ritim twabhicharan yajit Kama kamo yajit somam akama purusham param.
One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons, and one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param.
A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead.
Etavaneva yajatam iha nishayasodaya bhagavatya chalo bhavo yad bhagavata sangata.
All the different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfection of benediction, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord.
Jnanam yada pratinivritta gunurmachakram atma prasada utayatra guneshva sanga kaivalya samatapathastva bhakti yoga ko nivrito hari kadhasuratim na kuryat.
Transcendental knowledge in relation with the Supreme Lord Hari is knowledge resulting in the complete suspension of the waves and whirlpools of the material modes. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to its being free from material attachment, and being transcendental, it is approved by authorities. Who could fail to be attracted?
Shaunako vacha ityabhivyahritam raja nishamya bharatarshabha kimanyat prishtavan bhuyo veyashakam rishim kavim.
Shaunaka said, the son of Vyasadeva, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, was a highly learned sage and was able to describe things in a poetic manner. What did Maharaja Parikshit again inquire from him after hearing all that he had said?
Etatchushrushatam vidvan shrutano rasi bhashitam katha hari kathodalka satam shu sadasi dhruvam.
O learned Sutta Goswami, please continue to explain such topics to us because we are all eager to hear. Besides that, topics which result in the discussion of the Lord Hari should certainly be discussed in the assembly of devotees.
Save bhagavato raja pandaveyo maharatha balakridanake kridan krishna kridamya adade.
Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity.
Veyasakisha Bhagavan Vasudeva Parayana Urugaya Gunudhara Satam Shurhi Samagame.
Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who is glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees.
Ayur Harati Ve Pumsam Udyanastam Yanyaso Tasyarte Yakshano Nita Uttama Shloka Vartaya.
Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead.
Try that in the present confidence to the next.
तरवा किं न जीवन्ति भष्ट्रा किं न श्वसन्त्यता न खादन्ति न मेहन्ति किं ग्रामे पशवो परे.
Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen?
श्ववेद्वराहोश्रकरे संस्तुता पुरुषा पशु न यत्कर्णा पथोपेतो जातु नामागरागजा.
Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils.
बिले बतोरु क्रम विक्रमान्ये न शृण्वता कर्णपुते नरस्य जीवसातीतार्दुरिके वसुता न कोपगायत्युरगाय गाथा.
One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered the possessed ear holes like the holes of snake and a tongue like the tongue of a frog.
भार परम्पत किरीटजुष्टम् अप्युतमाङ्गं ननमेन्मुकुन्दं सावुकरो नु कुरुते सपर्यां हरेर्लसत्कञ्चन कङ्कणो वा.
The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti, freedom. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead Hari.
बर्हायते नयनेन राणां लङ्गानि विष्णुर्नरिक्षितो ये पादौ नृणं तौ द्रुमजन्मभाजौ क्षेत्राणि नानुव्रजतो हरेयो.
The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places, where the Lord is remembered, and considered to be like tree trunks.
जीवाञ्चवो भागवताङ्गिरेणुं न जातुमात्यो भिलभेत यस्तु श्रीविष्णुपाद्या मनुजस्तुलस्य स्वसाञ्चवो यस्तु न वेदगन्धाम्.
The person who has not any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotees upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing.
तदाश्मसारां हृदयं वदेदां यद्गृह्यमाणे हरिनामधेये न विक्रियेताथ यदा विकारो नेत्रे जलं गात्ररुहेषु हर्षा.
Certainly that heart is steel framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand on end.
अथाभिधेयं गमनोनुकूलं प्रभाषसे भागवता प्रधाना यथा हवेया सकिरात्मविद्या विशारदो नृपतिं साधु पृष्टा.
O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee Shukadeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaj Parikshit upon being asked. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very beautiful
to
recitation.
a more lighthearted version of that, which was
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very beautiful recitations by both the girls. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you all for joining the Sangha today. We'll just start off with the prayers, and then today the discussion for the verse is 2.3.11. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Jai Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Today, if somebody can bring up the slide for 2.3.11, please. With the purport. So, if that's possible, please, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Can I have a volunteer to read the verse? That's okay. With the translation, and one can read the purport. Okay, I'll read this, okay? Etavaneva yajattam iha niha श्रेयसोदयः भगवत्या चलो भावो Yadbhagavata Sangataha. Synonyms. Etavan, all these different kinds of worshippers. Eva, certainly. Yajatam, while worshipping. Iha, in this life. Niha Shreyasa, the highest benediction. Udayaha, development. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Achalaha, unflinching. Bhavaha, spontaneous attraction. Yat, which. Bhagavata, the pure devotee of the Lord. Sangataha, association. So all the different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction, unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. If anybody would want to read the purport, maybe just
Mataji, I can try. Is that okay?
yes, Mataji, please do.
Thank you very much indeed. All living entities in different stages of life within the material creation, beginning from the first demigod Brahma down to the small ant, are conditions under the law of material nature or the external energy of the Supreme Lord. The living entity in his pure state is conscious of the fact that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. When he is thrown into the material world on account of his desire to lord over the material energy, he becomes conditioned by the three modes of material nature and thus struggles for the existence for the highest benefit. This struggle of existence is something like following the wheel or the ship under the spell
Wrist.
of material enjoyment. All plans of material enjoyment, either by worship of different demigods as described in the previous verses of this chapter, or by modernized advancement of scientific knowledge, without the help of God or demigod, are illusionary only, for the despite of all such plans for happiness. The conditioned living being within the compass of material creation can never solve the problems of life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. The history of the universe is full of such plan makers, and many kings and emperors come and go, living a plan making story only. But the prime problem of life remain unsolved despite all endeavors by such plan makers. Actually, human life is meant for making a solution to the problems of life. One can never solve such problems by satisfying the different demigods. By different modes of worship or by so-called scientific advancement in knowledge without the help of God or the demigods. Apart from the gross materialists who carry very little either for God or for the demigods. The Vedas recommended worship of different demigods for different benefits, and so the demigods are neither false nor imaginary. The demigods are as factual as we are, but they are much more powerful due to their being engaged in direct service of the Lord in managing different departments of the universal government. The Bhagavad Gita affirms this, and different planets of the demigods are mentioned there, including the supreme demigod, the Lord Brahma. The gross materialists do not believe in the existence of God or the demigods, nor do they believe that different planets are dominated by different demigods. They are creating great commotion about reaching the closest celestial body, Chandraloka, or the moon. But even after such mechanical research, they are only very sancti information of this moon, and in spite of such false advertisement, so for selling land on the moon, the puffed up scientist or gross materialist cannot live there. and what to speak of reaching other planets, which they are unable to even to count. However, the followers of the Vedas have a different method of acquiring knowledge. They accept the statements of Vedic literatures as authority in total, as we have already discussed in Canto 1, and therefore they have full of full and reasonable knowledge of God and demigods and of their different residential planets situated within the compass of the material world and beyond the limit of the material sky. The most authentic Vedic literature accepted by the great Indian acharyas like Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhava, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, and Chaitanya, and studied by all important personalities of the world, is this Bhagavad Gita, in which worship of the demigods and their respective residential planets are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita affirms Yanti Deva Brata Deva Pitti Yanti Priti Vrata Bhutan Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Mad Yajnopi Mam. The worshipper of demigods reach the respective planets of the demigods, and the worshippers of forefathers reach the planets of the forefathers. The gross materialists remain in the different material planets, but the devotees of the Lord reach the kingdom of God. We also have information from the Bhagavad Gita that all the planets within the material world, including Brahmaloka, are but temporarily situated, and after fixed period they all are annihilated. Therefore, the demigods and their followers are all annihilated at the period of devastation. But one who reaches the kingdom of God gets permanent share in eternal life. That is the verdict of Vedic literature. The worshippers of the demigods have one facility more than the unbelievers due to their being convinced of the Vedic version, by which they can get information of the benefit of worshipping the Supreme Lord in the association of the devotee of the Lord. The gross materialist, however, without any faith in the Vedic version, remains eternally darkness, driven by a false conviction of the basis of imperfect experimental knowledge and so-called material science, which they can never reach into the realm of transcendental knowledge. Therefore, unless the gross materialist or the worshipper of temporary demigods come in contact with the transcendentalists like the pure devotee of the Lord, their attempts are simply waste of energy. Only by the grace of the divine personalities, the pure devotees of the Lord, can one achieve pure devotion, which is the highest perfection of human life. Only a pure devotee of the Lord can show one the right way of progressive life. Otherwise, both the materialist way of life without any information of God or the demigods, and the life engaged in the worship of demigods, the pursuit of temporary material enjoyments, are different phases of phantasmagoria. They are nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita also. But the Bhagavad Gita can be understood in the association of pure devotees only, and not by the interpretation of politicians or dry philosophical speculators. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for reading. Perfect. So this is such an important verse. This is, just I'll have to read the translation again. So what it says over here is, even though there are different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods, they can only attain the highest benediction, perfectional benediction, if they come in association with the pure devotee of the Lord. That's what you have to remember. So whatever way you do, the ultimate connection is the association of the pure devotee of the Lord, whatever type of worship you do. This is just said in the simple sentence. So even the same thing, whether you do karma yoga, whether you do gnana yoga, you need a pure devotee, a bhakta, to lead you to the destination, to the ultimate destination. This is what. So why do people, first of all, why do people worship demigods? And why not all worship Lord Vishnu? Why is it? So the easiest way I understood is that people like to get instant results, and people have no knowledge, and people, because they need instant results of materialistic enjoyment. So going and praying, achieving Lord Krishna is not easy. Even Krishna himself says, it is not easy achieving me. But by having the perfect knowledge, then you can achieve that. And if you're really wanting materialistic enjoyment, then obviously that is not what Krishna wants. You know? Krishna wants you to give away everything, all materialistic desires, and then come to him. So what of here, if I just take the Bhagavad Gita 4.25, it says, Daivam eva pare yagnam yogina paryupasate brahmagnava pare yagnam yagne naivopa jovati. So some yogis, they perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them. And some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. So what they say, the sacrifice, whatever you offer sacrifice, it is offered, it ultimately goes to Vishnu. Because all the demigods, they are all part and parcels of Vishnu. All the living entities and all the demigods, everybody, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, Durga Devi, all of them, they're all parts and parcels of the Lord. And they are all parts and parcels of the, they're parts of his limbs, parts of his body. So basically, if a person who has enough knowledge will understand that the parts of the limbs, if you feed the limbs, it will not feed your stomach, you know. So you have to feed through the mouth for the stomach. And that is why where you have to feed to the right God. So in this, suppose if you take an example of your tree, in a tree, there are lots of parts of the tree. Their leaves, their trunks, their branches, their roots. By pouring the water to the leaves will not help the tree nourish. So you have to pour the water to the roots, which is Krishna. So this is basically what they're trying to say is whatever you do, it ultimately comes to you. So why do people still go and pray to the demigods? So first of all, due to lack of knowledge, first thing. Second thing, they want easy results, you know, instant results they want. And they want materialistic results. So if they want materialistic results, this is not Krishna wants. So lack of knowledge, if you read Vedas all the time, even Vedas also, if the person does not want to believe that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and they believe that the demigods are the Supreme Lords, then they go by that way, even though all these demigods are actually part and parcel of the Lord. So Krishna facilitates them, because Krishna gives the independence of mind to everyone. And it is your choice ultimately, whichever way you want to go, but they will help you. They will help you. So Krishna is saying, okay, at least in that way, indirectly, they're trying to come to me, even though the path is much longer. And why demigod worship is not the ultimate? Because demigod themselves only worship Krishna. So they have only limited powers. Like example, how in any industry or any department you do, there's always one head. There can't be two heads. And then that head will have under him lots of other people managing different works. And they have been given limited powers. So one will look after one department and they can do only in that department. Another will look after another department. Another will look after another department. But then beyond that, they cannot do. So they'll have to go and ask the topmost manager or topmost head as to what is to be done. Similarly, all the demigods are given different functions by the Lord. So the Lord is how he delegates his work to manage the universe. He gives different roles to different demigods to look after those materialistic things in the universe. But he says people who actually approach me will come to my kingdom, but who approach other demigods will obviously they will perish. So everything which is in the materialistic world will perish. So if a intelligent person can understand that, then he will go, even though it's a difficult path, he will try to persevere and go to the difficult path, to know that yes, ultimately my result will be a good one. But people who do not have intelligence enough, or who are not guided properly, who think that this is the destination because they can get the results easily, like suppose, oh, I want to just have so much of wealth, and they'll pray to the god of wealth, because their understanding or the limitation is that they want wealth, but they don't realize that, okay, you get wealth, after that what happens? You get the wealth, you use it for this thing, for materialistic enjoyment. After that, then what happens? You'll come back again. So that life circle of birth, death, old age, and disease will continue. So if you do not understand that, to come out of this cycle of birth and rebirth, you need to really pray to Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer of us. That is the only path we need to follow. Then they will start persevering. But if they do not have that knowledge, then they can't. And who would help them to have that knowledge? It is mostly by your guru or a spiritual master or a pure devotee in the initial bit. If people are astray, then it is the pure devotee who will come and lead the path. All of us are here in this sangha because we were not very few people who are really born with intelligence. They go to the right path. I'm sure all of us have been in this materialistic energy, totally involved in this daily life, and then somebody comes and gives you this intelligence, or okay, we should go and join ISKCON or Krishna consciousness. And why you wanted to join? Because you wanted to know, because that time something happens within you, because you're fed up of this materialistic things. You realize that this is not what I want, and then you start thinking, what is my relation? What is my sambandha with God? What am I? Why am I here? What is my relationship in this world? What is my role over here? And then you start going on inquiring. And while inquiring, you might meet somebody, a devotee, who will give you this book, a Krishna book, or a Bhagavad Gita, and then then the process starts off. So you will always need somebody, one mercy of a devotee, to take you to that right path. And the second thing is, then once you start, to come in this path, once you start knowing what your role is or what your relationship is with the God, then you will try to go into that path, by saying like, okay, what can I do now to be in that path? So you will start doing devotional service, and you'll start doing things practically to help yourself to come to that path. And then after, obviously, all of us are trying to do both materialistic things and spiritual things. But if we're very lucky, we can do only spiritual things, and then we can go to a different platform. So in these 3 stages, obviously, you will have to you will end up it takes many lifetimes, to really get into that path, and then slowly you'll become Atma Raman, where you can think only of the Lord without any materialistic desires. And but all this endeavor which we do in these lifetimes, it is just a stepping stone into going to the ultimate success or ultimate goal, that is to be with going back to Godhead. So in how do we actually learn all these important information or important knowledge? Is by the mercy of a spiritual master. So in Bhagavad Gita 4.34, we have this verse which says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam gnaninastatvadarshinaha. So we just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Again and again, we come that there is always this pure devotees by the form of spiritual master. They are the ones who will lead us to know the truth. We cannot by ourselves learn. We cannot by reading all the books, whatever. That's only speculative knowledge. But without devotional service, you can never achieve the goal. So devotional service is a must. So through devotional service, then the Lord will start revealing things to you slowly, and then you will know. The path will automatically start opening up. So why do people also why do people worship demigods? As we said before, also it's said very nicely in Bhagavad Gita, especially in the 7th chapter, when we go most of the verses from 7.20 till nearly 5-6 verses, it explains very clearly. It says 7.20, Kama istaistar prita agnana prapadyante nya devataha tam tam niyamam asthaya prakritya niyata svaya. So those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, they surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So you have to be in that very high nature, to not to go deviate towards demigods. So less intelligent people who they do not have that choice. They do not know. If you're in a mode of ignorance, so you don't know there's something called higher thing, called a God over there. So they think that just by achieving, okay, my goal is just to get a house or a car. That is what their goal is. They are looking into the materialistic things, but they're not realizing that all this will, or maybe realize that this is all I want. I don't want to go beyond that. Some of them will not realize till the end that they keep on holding on to the wealth till the end, till they die, that, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to my wealth? But some people who are clever will say, this is nothing. This is ticha. There's nothing there. What happens to me is, if I only remember God, He is the ultimate savior. The moment you realize that God is the ultimate savior, you will start surrendering unto Him. And once you surrender into Him, then everything, the path really opens up. Again, Krishna tells in 7.21 that yo yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitum ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidadhami vidadhamyaham. So I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So Krishna himself is facilitating. So God has given them independence. So that if a person wants to go for material enjoyment, okay, go ahead. I will not force you. You will come on your free will. If you come on your free will, then I will take you. So he facilitates him. Doesn't matter, okay. God has never been evil to anyone. So he will help everyone. But everyone has their own way of coming. So they have to come on their own free will. It should not be forced. And also it says of here that in 7.22 again, Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktas Tasya Radhananam Ihate Labhate Cha Tatah Kaman Mayava Vihitan Hitan. So endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So Krishna is trying to say that even though you pray to all the demigods, the fruit will be towards me. Obviously, it's a longer path. So I'm just trying to tell how many verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that, listen, this is how demigod worship lots of people do. There are about 33 million demigods over there. But the ultimate thing always comes to me. So anybody who approaches me will directly, or will obviously through the spiritual master, because they are the topmost people who can guide you, you will attain a small place in my kingdom. Otherwise, you will go, and if you pray to whichever demigod, you will reach there. But anyhow, that is again, it is temporary. It'll again fall down. So you want to go to a permanent place. So start working towards going to that permanent place. And he says, men of small intelligence, they worship the demigods, and their fruits are also limited and temporary. So those who worship the demigods go to the planets of demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. That is why I always feel like, maybe because it is so difficult to follow the path of Krishna consciousness, people go to the alternative or easy path. That's one more thing, because they do not have that endeavor or that perseverance. You'll find Vishnu Bhaktas so less over there compared to the other form of demigods in this whole population. Especially in India, we have a lot of people who worship the demigods, but they do not realize that the demigods indirectly, they are indirectly worshipping the Lord Krishna. But and the demigods themselves are in direct contact with the Lord, and so whatever they offer to the Lord, it is going indirectly to demigod. It goes indirectly to Lord Krishna. And in 7.15 again, I just want to say this verse again. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradhamaha maya ya parhata gnana asuram bhavamashritah. So those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the aesthetic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So I was trying to say, like, people who have a demonic nature will not surrender unto me, because the thought process is only totally different. But we have leaders like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Sita, Janakan, Prahlada, Bali, and then we have later Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya. All of them, they have surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, because they know that this is the only way. There is no other way. There is no other way other than this. And Krishna will be explaining everything to Arjuna, saying that this is me. I am. If you actually accept me as the God, then everything becomes so easy. And if you pray to the demigods, then it is not. It is an indirect path. And in 18.40, Natadasti Prithivyaam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jairmuktam yad ebhisyatri gunai. And Krishna says there's no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So again, it's trying to say that everything is temporary. So you have to abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me, and I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, and do not fear. So what over here we also say is that Krishna will say that in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.15, it says, Yat pada samsraya suta munaya prasamayanaha sadhya punantya paprishtaha swardhunyapo nusevaya. He says, O Suta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So over here, the importance of the pure devotee, he's trying to say, so whenever we meet a pure devotee, and by their mercy, then we can go in the right path. This is given example. Even if you thousands of years, even if you purify yourself bodily in the bathing in the river Ganges, that is still not enough. By one contact, by one one contact with a pure devotee who has showered his mercy, that is much more higher than bathing in the Ganges river many, many thousands and thousands of times. So basically in this whole verse, it says that why do people actually pray to demigods? Because of their alpa buddhi, or the lower intelligence, and being in the mode of ignorance, and they think that demigods are superior to the Lord Krishna, not realizing that Lord Krishna is the main creator of the whole universe, and he is the or everything in this universe is part and parcel of Krishna. So everything is indirectly related to Krishna, and and they think that they are competitor to the gods. Some of the people who have enough knowledge, they think, because the ahankara, the ego comes in so much, that they start thinking that, oh, I can do everything. Example, now you have people are just trying to go, Srila Prabhupada tries to tell in this purport that people are going to the moon, but for what? Just to get a bit of dust, or just to sell the land over there? But they cannot solve the problem of life, death, old age, and disease, or how a person is born and how the person dies. If they can solve the situation, then they can be equated to God. But they can't do that. They're only taking parts and parcels of things and then trying to think that they have done everything. Like how we have Richard Branson, I think they just want to take people into space and come back, and he spends lots and lots of money. Or they're sending things to the moon, they're sending things to other planets. But that is only part and parcel, just to see what it is, but they can never be equated to the God. So people do not realize, people think that these materialistic achievements are what they have done, what they want, and throughout their life they go on working to achieve these, because that is their limit. The vision is so limited. They do not realize that this is all temporary. The soul does not die, the soul which does not die has to go back to Godhead. And that is the only reason why we are here. That is the only reason. That's the sambandha. That's the thing you have to really understand, that we are part and parcels of the Lord. And then we have to go into abhideya, where we need to how to practice and then go back to Lord. And then obviously you will become Atmaram later, once you start into the practice as much as possible, as many years it will take for us. So the only way we can really achieve the Lord's mercy is by going through the spiritual master and learning through disciplic succession everything, and by learning all the holy books like the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, and by chanting, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come into this world in the form of a devotee of the Lord to help us, to show us to be a good devotee, and given us this powerful mantra, Maha Mantra, 16-word Maha Mantra, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, to be chanted regularly, so that this is the easiest way to achieve the Lord's. And also in Bhagavad Gita, initially they say that you have to get rid of all your materialistic sins to even worship the Lord. But in the end, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that just by surrendering unto me, that you can get rid of all your sins, because you just leave everything unto me and I will take care of you. Hare Krishna. And the verse of here, I hope I've been able to give some knowledge. Please forgive me for all the mistakes I'm doing. Please give me some comments or questions or corrections, please. Hare Krishna. I think it's 8:40 now, so it's the time for bhajan.
Hare Krishna, Mamta Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What I understand also in the Vedas, it's been all the demigods worship out there, isn't it? I mean,
Sorry?
In the Vedas,
Yes,
all the procedure for the demigod worships are also there.
yes, and it
People,
is said,
yeah,
yes,
people
yes, and it,
haven't just taken it just on its own because it was there, and it wasn't like the way Vasudeva, after realization that he hasn't, glorified Krishna, that's why he wrote the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. But before that, it was
yes,
all the procedure was there, so it was not people's kind of a mistake, because everybody wants to get the material thing, and that no knowledge was there before.
yeah.
I
So
think
that's
that,
why,
that's why it has happened. People don't do things just by imagining, because there are some procedure, there's some priest to do that, so people who are not educated properly like the way Srila Prabhupada is. So it's not people's mistake also. I mean, they didn't know better. That's why it was not there better like this. So I think that's why people just followed. And now, because of Srila Prabhupada has given us so much, he has given us the proper knowledge. And because of course, the Vasudeva also later part, he realized that, Krishna is the Supreme. I haven't glorified Krishna. So that's why the Bhagavatam has come and all these knowledge come. So that's why it's not people's mistake also. People just follow what is available at that time.
yes,
And
Master.
also what I understand that, if you, before you go to the university, you have to go through the, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, like that. So because it wasn't available, people were following that, what was were available. That's, I mean, now we know, So normally, I mean, when I was young, we didn't know this. We used to see all the demigods, they're all saying, there was no knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead. We have to worship only Krishna. These things were not available. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
why.
then if I can say, like, if I can go back to Bhagavad Gita 4.25, it says, Daivam eva pareyagnam yogina paryupasate brahmagnava apare yagnam yagnenaiva vo pajuhvati. So some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some others offer sacrifices in fire of the Supreme Brahman. So factually, sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yagna. But all the different varieties of sacrifice can be placed within 2 primary divisions. That's what it is said. Namely, sacrifice of worldly possessions and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. So those who are in Krishna consciousness sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, while others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice the material possessions to the satisfied demigods such as Indra, the sun gods, etc. And I do understand, Mataji, in Vedas, yes, it has been given that there is for the sacrifices have been taught in Vedas and all that. I do understand, but at that point of time, also there should have been some intelligent people who could lead them to the right path. I'm sure there were people that time also who knew that the Lord, the Creator of the universe, was not only this through the scriptures. So I mean, they were after the transcendental knowledge. So I mean, that'd be very, very rare, very few. Of course, the majority of the people would follow like the sheep, whatever the crowd goes. There'll be only one separate people. I mean, very few people who will be different from the common flock, who will go the harder way to achieve things. Yes, I do agree that yes, Vedas was there, and I do agree that Vasudeva, by his own, because he was not satisfied, that's why Bhagavatam came, and we are the lucky people to actually, because of Srila Prabhupada's grace, that we're able to know what it is, and we now should avail this facility and take it from. I mean, take every bit. We should not waste our time, and because I think Srila Prabhupada has really given such a vast amount of knowledge through his translations. Thank you, Mataji, for really showing that path. Thank you.
What I also think that, there's so-called Brahmanas before we didn't know what is the proper Brahman quality. Though is in Vedas, in Bhagavad Gita, it does, but normally normal Brahmin, They were not Krishna's devotee. They were not Vaishnava. They used to do any worship. They used to be called to house. They used to do any. They did never encourage it. Don't worship this. Worship only Krishna. They could have. They had some authority, but they didn't use their authority to educate. They were just taking money and doing whatever worship they had to do.
That
They
is
were
not a
not
real, that is not a real Brahmana, Mataji.
No.
So Brahmanas was not, I mean, that is what people have. So it all depends upon what your meaning of Brahmana was, and what we think what it is, and what is the real Brahmana means, or what is a real Vaishnava means. So that is what our knowledge of a Brahman also was wrongly fed, I think. So that, because we just go with the crowd, right? So we have to really, if you want to know the real thing, then you have to endeavor a bit more and go through all the things, to stand out of the crowd. So by general thing, if we go, then obviously we will get mixed results. We will not get proper results, isn't it, Mataji?
Thank you for the
Hare
class.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
My Dhanur Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Mataji, for today's bhajan, first of all, Mataji, thank you so much. It was very clear, Mataji. Thank you for a wonderful class, as always, Mataji. So Mataji, for today's bhajan, we have Nikhil Prabhuji singing a beautiful Radhika Ashtakam. But Nikhil Prabhuji, before you sing, is it okay if I read the English translation?
Please, thank you, Mataji.
Haribol, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
I just need Jyoti Mataji to share. Yep, Haribol. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, is it this bhajan, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, it is this one. Yeah. Translation. Her splendorous golden complexion steals the pride of a golden lotus flower anointed with a tinge of red kumkum vermilion. Her sweet fragrance mocks the fame of the aroma of a lotus flower sprinkled with saffron powder. She is fully qualified to fulfill all the desires of the son of the king of the cowherd men. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. Her amazing and colorful silken garments make the splendor of red coral feel ashamed. She is a garden of blossoming flowers where the maddened bumblebee named Krishna performs amorous pastimes. She worships the sun god daily in order to attain the continual association of her beloved Sri Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. Her charming youthful delicacy negates the fame of the freshly sprouted leaves. Her refreshing form is worthy of being served by the cooling moon, sandalwood paste, lotus flowers, and camphor. When she touches the master of the gopis, she dispels the burning heat of his lusty desires. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. Although the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is adored by other youthful goddesses who are themselves glorified throughout the universe, still she is nowhere near Sri Radhika in the matter of beauty, praiseworthy youthfulness, or other divine feminine opulences. There is no one in the material or the spiritual world that is superior to Sri Radhika in the expression of naturally loving pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. She is very learned in many transcendental arts, such as performing in the rasa dance, singing and joking. She is decorated with many divine qualities, such as loving nature, exquisite beauty, and wonderful garments and ornaments. Even among the cowherd damsels of Raja, who are praised by the entire universe, she is the best in every way. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. She possesses the opulences of eternal youthful beauty, eternal pastimes, and eternal love for Krishna. Her ecstatic feelings of love for Krishna cause the gopis, who are also in love with Krishna, to tremble. She is always attached to meditating on Sri Krishna's beautiful form
ornaments, garments, and pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. She is graced with 8 ecstatic symptoms, sattvic bhava, such as trembling, perspiring, standing upon unbodily hairs, tears, faltering of the voice, and so forth. She is adorned with different ecstatic emotional ornaments such as impatience, joy, contrariness, and so forth. She is decorated with beautiful jewels that give total delight to the eyes of Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. If she is apart from Krishna for even half a moment, she becomes stricken with wretched suffering, restfulness, and a multitude of other ecstatic symptoms of separation. When she regains the association of Sri Krishna after some effort, then all her anguish immediately vanishes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet. It is very difficult for Parvati and other exalted goddesses to attain even a glimpse of Srimati Radharani, who is dear to Lord Sri Krishna. But if someone glorifies her by reciting these 8 verses, then she who is delighted by Krishna's continuous association will grant the sweet nectar of her personal service to that person, who thereby enters the assembly of her similarly delighted girlfriend. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Namrata Mataji. You recited that so lovely with so much devotion. I could hear it in your voice. Thank you. So now I'm feeling very unqualified to sing this bhajan actually. I chose it last week. I thought it's one of my favorite bhajans and it's very beautiful. But yeah, it's a very high topic. So I seek the blessings of the Vaishnavas so that I can sing this nicely. Kumata kanchanabja garvahari gaurabha Pitananchitab jaganda kirti nindi saurabha Ballavesha sunu sarva Vanchitartha sadhika Mahyamatma pada padma Dasya dasturadhika Gauravinda kanti nindi Chitrapata shatika Krishna mata bringa keli Fula pushpa vatika Krishna nitya sangamata Padma bandhuradhika Mahyamatma pada padma Dasya dasturadhika So Kumarya Shrishta Palla Valikirti Nigraha Chandra Chandanotpalendu Sevya Shita Vigraha Swabhimarsha Ballavisha Kamatapabadhika Mahyamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Vishwavandyayo Vatabi Vanditapi Rama Rupanavyayo Vanadi Sampadanayat Sama Shilaha Dalilayacha Sayatosti Nadika Mahyamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Lasya Gita Narma Satkalali Pandita Premaramya Rupa Vesha Sadgunali Mandita Vishwanavya Gopayoshi Alitopiyadika Mahyam Atma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Nitya Rupa Keri Krishna Bhava Sampada Krishna Raga Bandha Gopa Yovateshu Kampada Krishna Rupa Veshakeri Lagna Sat Samadhika Mahyam Atma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Svedakampakantakashru Gadgadadi Sanchita Marsha Harsha Vamatadhi Bhavabhushananchita Krishna Netrato Shiratna Mandanali Dadika Mahyamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Yakshanada Krishna Vipra Yoga Santatodita Nekadainya Chapaladi Bhava Vrinda Modita Yatnalabdha Krishna Sangha Nirgata Khiladika Mahyam Atma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Ashtakena Yastvanena Noti Krishna Vallabham Darshane Pishailajadi Yoshidali Durlabham Krishna Sangananditatma Dasya Sidhu Bhajanam Tam Karoti Nanditali Sanchayashu Sajanam Ashtakena Yastvanena Noti Krishna Vallabham Darshane Pishailajadi Yoshidali Durlabham Krishna Sangananditatma Dasya Sidhu Bhajanam Tam Karoti Nanditali Sanchayashu Sajanam Mahiyamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Mahiyamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Mayamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Mayamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Mayamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dasturadhika Srimati Radharani ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So
Very
much,
good,
Prabhu.
brother.
Wonderful, wonderful voice and beautiful tune. I heard Bhakti Charu Maharaj singing this song also. It's very
Yes,
nice.
yeah, he sings it very beautifully, of course.
Very beautiful.
There's a different melody. This melody I picked up from Amarendra Prabhu.
Oh, Amarendra Prabhu. Okay.
Yeah, he sings this on YouTube as well.
Very
yeah.
nice. You sang
Thank
so well. Very
Very
devotional.
nicely. Yes, Prabhuji, very nicely sung and very nicely recited also, Mataji. Absolutely blissful. Thank you so much for that.
Very pleasing to the
heartfelt.
heart. Yeah, very pleasing to the heart.
Very heartfelt, yes.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I think we should say the last prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Lovely class.
Hare
Very
Krishna.
nice Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Mataji, very nice.
you,
Thank you.
Mataji. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you,
Mataji. Hare
Mataji, for the lovely
Krishna.
class.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.